Alright you guys, how you doing? Stefan Hillesheim here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about getting started on slide guitar in open tuning, and try to break it down. And this is like would be the first video, the first step on how to get going. So first off, about open tunings, I like open D. So I'm in D. That would be D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. Other popular tunings are open E, open G, open A. Playing slide and standard tuning is also an option. I've done that for a couple of years, and but today we're going to talk about open tuning. And in terms of equipment, I like playing on a humbucker style guitar. I think it helps, you know, with sustain and how the slide interacts with the strings. I like to play a little bit heavier gauge of string, so especially when playing in D, since you slacken a little bit the strings. I like to go up one string gauge. So if I usually play 10s, I'm putting on 11s. I usually like to play 11s, so these are 12 through 56, standard Ernie Ball set. But you can definitely play slide with lighter strings. They don't have to be that heavy. It's just, you know, my preference. In terms of action, slightly raised, nothing crazy. Just I think for blues guitar, when you do a lot of string bending and stuff, you don't want them super low. So I have them slightly raised so that, you know, notes are not fretting out or anything. But other than that, just try to play with a light touch, and that'll save you a lot of trouble, especially when playing with lighter strings and lower action. Light touch, you know. In terms of slides, there's a lot that I tried out, and I really landed on a specific slide that I'm going to talk for a second about. It's the liquid slide, come in these beautiful cases, which I really like. And the liquid slide is, in my opinion, the superior product out of, I have a whole box of slides that I tried out, different brass, metal ones, different artificial glass ones, ceramic. This is the best sounding slide in my opinion. And for a closed slide that doesn't have an opening, I also don't think that that there's a lot of transpiration going on. Because a lot of sweating, you know, like some of them, they're really, feels like your finger is steaming. I play this for a whole gig, and it's just a good feel to it. And I make this decision based on sound. You know, I used to play Dunlop slides that had a great, glass slides that had a great tone, in my opinion, and I think they're not using real glass. It's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's some type of plexi or whatever they use. It's not really actual glass. But this slide has a great sustain, great tone. They come in different colors, so this little liquid in there is not just for show. It's not just for appearances. It actually helps creating this nice, that's the red one, this nice sustain. They come in different sizes. There's pinky slides and there is knuckle slides. I like the standard slide because I play on my ring finger. It's different benefits of playing on your pinky or your ring finger. I've done both, you know. I started playing pinky slide, but then I've gotten really comfortable on my ring finger. It's just my preference. Anyways, I'm gonna have their website in the comments. Check them out. That's Michael Flynn, and the store is in Highland Park, the Music Gallery, but you can also order on Liquid Slide on the website, on their web store. Great product. And talking a little bit about pedals and equipment, to get started on slide guitar, you really don't need anything, to be honest. A lot of traditional slide guitar sound is just a humbucker guitar into a clean Fender style amp with a bit of reverb, and that's a great tone. Like a lot of stuff that I recorded was just like that, nothing, just cable guitar, amp. If you're using pedals, stuff for me that makes sense is a little bit of saturation if you're playing a higher wattage amp and you can't get it to get warm. I like to use a Marshall Blues Breaker pedal for that I'm having engaged right now. So this will be without the pedal, and that's with the pedal. I use it very subtly. I have the volume all the way up and then the gain fairly low. I have the gain at like 9 o'clock and the tone control at about 1 o'clock. So I use it as a clean boost, and it gives me nice saturation. Also, I like to use a little bit of flashback, slapback, not flashback. The pedal is called flashback, TC Electronic. I have it on very, in the wet dry level, I have it on a very subtle setting, but it's just a little bit, And one thing that I got into is leaving a tremolo on low intensity. This amp I'm playing through a hot rod, Fender hot rod, does not have tremolo. So I use a Milkman f-stop. It's like a reverb and tremolo pedal. And my tremolo is on a slower speed. Here, this is if I turn it up. But I have it down at about 10% wetness. And I leave it on. Funny enough, how that came about is I used to practice a lot in a room with a ceiling fan, and I kind of discovered on the slowest speed that ceiling fan did something really pleasant to my ear in terms of modulation, or in terms of like shaking around the pitches. And I remember around the same time I heard George Benson talking about accidentally leaving on the vibrato, the tremolo on a Fender amp, and then after he was like, wow, the sound was really good, and it was by mistake. Basically, he said, oh wow, if I leave the tremolo on low intensity, it kind of does something pleasant for my tone. So that's it, that's it. I do, from time to time, use a 10-band EQ, where I have the MXR 10-band. I use it as a mid boost, and I'm also cutting out the 31 and 62 frequencies quite a bit to get rid of muddiness and low end. Just something to keep in mind. If you're playing in a detuned, in an open detuning, you don't want to like step on the bass players or the organ players' feet too much by like producing these low frequencies, and they're gonna be canceled out anyways in the mix. Okay, so what we're doing today is just trying to figure out, if you were to get started, this is the first time you're playing slide guitar, what can we find around our fretboard for the 1-4-5 chord, little licks that work in D, and maybe a turnaround lick. So, your one chord lies right here on the open strings, right? We play traditional, lump. We have our, on the second fret of the A string, with that high D string and that open D string, we have a one chord. Go to the third fret. it's a D string since we changed the tuning, but that high string in there. Then our 4 chord would be in the 5th fret. I can use my pinky for that, so I'm going 5, 7, 8, 7. 5 chord would be 7th fret. Or I could make it a 7 chord here. My pinky. 4 chord, and back to the 1 chord. And then my turnaround walk would be. What that is just octaves. This would be 3rd fret, 3rd fret. Octave. 2nd fret, octave. 1st fret. And I play the open D string in between. Another way of playing this would be that's the 3rd fret in on the F sharp string and the A string. But kind of the traditional way that Elmore James and a lot of slide players do it would be with the octaves. And then you can go either half step up to the tonic or half step down. Right? So if we kind of follow that along, that would be. Okay, so this is to go along with the chords, and we're going to try to throw our slide licks in there. So that we basically play comping, play a little slide, play a little comping. That's the idea. That's kind of how I learned it when I first started playing slide guitar, and I did it mostly on acoustic, to be honest. Obviously listening to, Robert Johnson and country blues artists who don't have other accompaniments, don't have a band playing with them, they just play by themselves. But even if you like the more blues rock, type of sound, I think it's really important to be able to do it by yourself, to kind of get the call and response between the slide and your voice if you sing, and just get used to play that accompaniment as well, not just lick after lick. So this is what I would, start with. We play a little lick up in the 12th fret. A lot of really recognizable, distinct slide licks would be around the minor pentatonic there. And we really just have to focus on the top 3 strings. We don't have to play all 6 strings for the minor pentatonic. So my notes here would be, that's D, 12th fret, right? So the this position would be 15, 12, 15, 12, 13. So that's the notes we need here in the 12th position, right? And the position before that, it would be 12, 10, 12, 10, 11. So to put that together, right? And those notes we try to play, as clear as they can be pitch-wise with a slide, just to see how we can map this out. See, now I did what I asked you not to do. I started putting vibrato on it, but let's just start without any of that. No vibrato, no sliding into notes, just clear notes, right? And if we play around with those notes, we already have a lot there. We can play on the 12th fret, that as a double stop. We can slide up to the 15th fret. which would be the minor third, right? We can play, and we can slide up here. So there's a lot of mileage coming out of this in terms of slide licks, which would be back to D, right? Another area where we can play some nice tasty licks over the one chord would be open, like open strings in first position here. So we can slide from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret to the root, right? So this would be a C note, this would be a D note. So we can slide up to the tonic here, maybe followed by open string. Go back down to C, 3rd fret, and then on the 3rd string, 1st fret, and then 3rd fret on the D string, open string. So the way that would be mapped out here is, so it would be 5, 3, 3, 1, 3, open. So the whole lick would be, right? Something like that. And then over the 5 and 4 chord, we can kind of, you know, outline the chords, the triads. The triads would just be 7, 7, 7. That's actually very easy to find, because if we bar straight down, we have a major chord, right? This would be a 5, this would be a 4. I just want to play this middle part of it, which would be a triad. So the way we outline that chord change from the 5 to the 4 would be, for example, or just sliding 6th to 7th fret. Let's put it together. 12th fret. 4 chord. Turn around. Go one more time around. Four chord. And 5 chord. Turn around. This time I did the other turnaround. So, just a starting point. Let me know, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm moving too fast with this. I want to get into some other interesting stuff in open tuning in the next videos, in terms of playing chords, playing non-slide guitar, like scales, arpeggios, just some stuff that's maybe not blues also, you know, like different styles of music, what you can do if you stay in open tuning. But for the near future, we stay dedicated to slide guitar, and just want to share some information. Hope it helps. And if you have anything else that you want to share, or things that you practice that you find inspiring, put it in the comments. And yeah, let's talk about it. All good stuff. Keep on sliding.